Do we just have Ugo Uno today? Oh no, we have Ugo squared. I always love it when we have Ugo squared. Excellent. Ashish, hey, our GAN expert. You're famous now. Anyone that wants to know about GANs, they know who to come talk to. Chris, hey buddy. Thanks for shortening your name. It's always confusing to pronounce those those certain European names. Appreciate it. I know mine's hard. The H throws everyone off. All right, this is great. We still have people arriving, but okay. Occasionally we have some new people, so I found that it's probably good to give this little talk about who we are and what we do here. Oh, I just got to read Ugo's comment here. Dad, one of my data science lecturers would always say, I never trust any data that is not normal. Oh no, I trust data that's not normal because sometimes it's not normal. Yeah, and by the way, I'm not going to berate that person because I think back to some of the, forgive my French, bullshit I said to my students when I taught at university, and I'm still embarrassed by having said those things. Yeah, it's a dangerous thing to step in front of a university class and say something too confidently. I learned that the hard way. Yes. Okay. So yes. Guys, I want to point out that this is not me mentoring anyone. This is all of us mentoring each other. That's why we call it integrated mentoring. It started as an experiment. I think, wow, it's been a while now, maybe 5-6 months ago. And it worked beautifully the very first time, thanks to our very brave Navina, who was in class, but I don't know if she showed up here yet or not. And it continues to bless all of us because we're not led by any one person. We're led by a spirit called More Together. And it's always good to reflect upon these things for those of us that know it and have experienced it. But in that spirit, we find things that we all need to grow in. And I still need to grow in them too, practice them. And I find I learn every session from listening to you guys, even if it's something I've been through 3 times, I learn it better by watching you guys go through it and show your unique spin on it. So we had talked about the importance of being good presenters, and we listened to some great theory on that. We had some great expert examples. If any of you have ever wondered, is Tom a Giovanni groupie? Yeah, I'm guilty. I follow Gio everywhere. I just think she's awesome. And so I hope y'all are all subscribed to her channel and benefiting from everything she's teaching there. And we also had a great example presentation from Greg as an expert level presenter. But then, of course, Ashish blew us away with his GAN presentation. Navina gave us her very good presentation on some stuff that we learn in our sessions. But today we have an extra good treat. This is, if you want to say, oh, this is just pure nepotism, guilty. I'm very proud of my daughter. So Manpreet's going to present to us today. And Gaith, can you make her a presenter? Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, never been so nervous before.
Yes,
Shall
go
I
ahead.
start? Okay, good. Um, you all can see it, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So hello everyone. Welcome to the integrated mentoring sessions today. What happened? Okay. I'm Manpreet. I've studied applied mathematics from NIT Surat. I'm currently working as a data engineer at PACT. I'm quite an NLP enthusiast and I love to be part of communities. So anybody new can connect with me on LinkedIn. And can watch my videos on AIM Learning, where I host various meetups on Saturdays. So moving ahead, the topic for today that I choose to talk is it's okay to fail. Really, trust me, it's very okay to fail sometimes. I mean, always it's okay to fail, and we should never feel bad about it. And to incorporate why I choose this topic is I'll talk about why it's okay to fail, because embrace failure, because everyone fails. You value your success. Until and unless you don't fail, you don't value the success you got. Like after failing 10 times while coding, and then finally you get the correct answer and of the model, you finally value it. Okay, yes, finally I did it. But what if you did it first attempt? Yes, you are very happy, but then you don't realize, that true happiness comes, I feel personally, is when you actually fail 2 times, you see the bugs, you go to Stack Overflow and do it. And it does not even apply always to your coding thing, it's also in life. When we fail at certain things, and then finally we make it to it after 2 months, 3 months, or 2 days, we realize, oh, what a journey it was. From here to here and here, we went zigzag and finally we made it. Recently, I was reading this one book which told that successful people never follow a straight path, they always have a zigzag road. They take various turns and fail and up and downs in their life, and then only they get succeeded in their life. So I think it's very important to embrace your failures and also celebrate your failures, because when you celebrate your failures, you know that okay, today I failed here, so that this is one way which is closing my door and I can find some another way. Like Rudyard Kipling quotes, the road not taken. So you should not be the way that okay, I did not take this, I did not try that. You should be going ahead and trying out different things. Second thing is you learn substantially from failure than success. That's what I said. Thomas Alva Edison quoted that he failed several times, so he learned that there are 10,000 ways that did not work to light a lamp, and there was this one way that helped him to light a lamp. So not knowing 10,000 ways is also a success for him, because it tells him, okay, these things cannot be used. Even at work, when we are trying to implement a lot of things, we realize, okay, this is not working, this is not working. But when we document these learnings, it could help the other person joining the team or anyone new in the team to know that okay, on this project these many things were already tried, so I'll try out something new that can help and maybe would be successful over here. So I think documenting sometimes your failures helps others to learn from it. So it's very important that you learn from it and not feel bad about it. At one day, okay, you feel that today I did not go through this interview, I failed. But go and recap at your thing, okay, why did it go? Did you brag about self? What did he ask? Where did you lag? What happened at the interview? Rethink what happened, work on that, and next time you will make it. Failures allow you to discover new paths. That was I was saying. So going back, you realize that okay, I did this, so this happened. At this moment, these things were happening that contribute to making these things. So you go back and see, okay, I did this and this, which led to this. What can I else do to make these things? So you try to figure out new ways. Like if you applied model A to your code and it failed, so you try to find out, what if I change the parameters? What if I change the data set in this way? What if I do my pre-processing differently? What if I do this? So that what if always helps you to find out new things, and you never know that you might do a good research someday in that. And you take more chances when you're unafraid to fail, because there's nothing there for you to at stake. it's because you're trying something and there's nothing left for you at stake, so you're trying new things. And when you're unafraid, you are more open to your choices, you're more open to things, so you take up more things and you try out new more things in life. There was this one book that I was reading which had a story. A boy was watching a butterfly coming out of cocoon, and it was struggling to come out of cocoon due to some liquids. It was not able to fly its wings, so the boy cut that cocoon and the butterfly was able to fly. But the boy noticed that the butterfly could not easily flap her wings, and it was somewhat shrink, and then she died after a few days. The story implied that sometimes it's good that you struggle so that you can open and fly more easily in the air. So the cocoon restricts the butterfly because it allows its fluids to flow through all its wings, so that it struggles and tries to get out on its own, so that when the fluid flows through the butterfly's wings, it can easily fly. So it showed that how important sometimes it is to struggle and fail and feel rejections, to know that okay, where I stand and where I have to go further to make me prove. Like it's you can see at home we have this rubber which stretch and and goes things very far. If you stretch it far, it goes far. So this is like thing, you have to sometimes go back to come more to be more powerful and better ahead after some time. And failure makes you more empathetic to the plight of others, as you have struggled in your life, as you had seen difficulties, so you're more touched, and you know that what other people might be going through this, so you try to give what you have learned. You try to be more helpful to people, you try to connect with people, and that's how you grow your network, and that's how help you and the others to also learn and do things. Failure teaches you to appreciate yourselves. Like yesterday, Giovanna said that I am remarkable. Even your failures are you making you remarkable, and it's very important to be appreciating yourselves every time, because I know I have studied MSc, BSc Maths, and it was very difficult to get job. But keep trying. People will mock you. There was this one quote by Dharman, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, that people often judge you and mock you because they're jealous of your success. So don't get influenced so much, but always stay ground to it, that there was a way when you also failed, and try to help others and try to appreciate yourself. This is something very personal that I shared on LinkedIn as well. I used to write earlier and I used to get a lot of hate, not even for my post but for others that also wrote about something. But when I started to think, okay, I can write it in some way and share things, and then it got good. Some of my posts was just for me as a reminder that I had put on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's it for me, and I'm open to any questions and suggestions from the community.
Okay, so first, just so you remember, we're not going to give her feedback. We're just going to ask her questions about her talk, if there are any, and then we'll go into a mode of where we give her feedback about how to present better. So does anyone have questions they want to ask her about her talk? Yes, Jonathan.
Great. Loved it on the failure. But I think there's 2 points of failure here. There's failure in a way that is something is like cold. The cold fails, but isn't there something there is personal failure as well, where you set your own goals, but you fail at on your own personal level over to something more practical. How would you describe those, or if that was something that you could bring into the presentation to define those two?
Okay, so the personal, according to me, I feel the personal goal is expectations that you keep yourselves about. But when you fail, you need to introspect with yourself. Okay, why did you fail here? There might be some things that things might have gone wrong. Situation might have not been correct. There might be a pandemic condition because of which you could not get your personal goals. So these might have contributed. So how you can change it to achieve it later. So this is something you can look and ask yourself, make a journal and see today's goal was this. So have your daily goals to your big deal goal of the week or of the month to see, okay, today I'll achieve this, today I'll do this. And once you try to write it down, you will see that, okay, I could do these all things. I prioritize these things. That's why I could not do this thing. So according to me, I feel that way it happens.
Okay, great. Kim, you're next.
Thank you. So the question that I have for you, Manpreet, is why did you choose to use failure as the topic and the word that you're focusing on? Can you talk a little bit more about how you see failure and if you feel that if that failure itself is self-defining in a way?
I choose this topic because you would read mostly people talk about their success. Okay, I achieved this. But sometimes, as I told, at work, I learned that people's documentation helped me to know they have already tried these things and failed at these things. So I could try something better, something new. And that's how I relate that last month or in 2020 December, where I gave that data science confessions, a talk at a college where I just told what mistakes I did and people could relate to it. And they said, yeah, we also did that. And sometimes when you do these things or you do something wrong, you realize, okay, why I did it and how I can improve it. So in a way you can help other also, like, okay, I have gone through this phase, I did this, so might they also think, okay, if she did this, I might try out this. So that's why I think it's also important to talk why you failed when you're talking about your success, because your success never comes without your failure, and in a dictionary F always comes before S. So yeah.
Excellent. Ashish, you are next.
Hi, it was a wonderful presentation. I just wanted to ask you any moment in your life where you have failed, but it's not necessarily that you learned something from it. And how did you tackle such things?
Yeah,
So
I
you
failed
cannot
at
identify
my
what is the learning. Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah, I failed at my first interview on the campus where I went till the last round and I was waiting till 9:30, 10 in the campus. And when I get to know that I got rejected, I made a point to go to my interviewer and ask that why did I fail. Luckily, he was our college alumni, so it was easy to talk to him. So he told me that you told your things in a very way that look like you're bragging about it. The CV you wrote is little different and it's not in correct way, and you did not solve a puzzle, which was very important. So it helped me to realize, okay, I went. Then I came back home. I did cried. I feel bad. But then I had another interview on Monday. It happened on Friday. So I then prepared my CV again. I asked for a review from 2 or 3 of my seniors. I told them what happened at interview, what they asked, what I answered, and they helped me to realize, okay, you have to tell things in this way, you have to show yourself in this way, and I got selected on Monday. So that was my one of the things that is very personal to me.
Okay, Gaith, you're next.
In fact, I don't have a question. I have a comment on Jonathan's question. It's like the following: the personal failure. When you fail in achieving your goals. In fact, for me, it's another code failure. Okay, you have a process you follow and you fail. The problem about it, it's when you are facing this failure from other people, when it's affecting your life. But again, at the end, it's a process you follow and you fail on it. Okay, that means you have to know your possibilities better. You have to change the process. You have to know where you are going and how to split your target. But at the end, it's failure just like a code failure for me. Okay. Now it's very important. Just if some person he don't change his personality, this is the most important part. Success or failure, it's not you. It's not the person himself. So don't make this to affect your personality. This is the most important part.
Okay, Jaya, please.
Yes, Manpreet. For technical failures, right? One would have, technical failures can be in programming or statistics or any other math. How would you, overcome those technical failures? What would you do to prepare yourself for that? What is your way of doing it?
I'm a person who's like stuck at a code. I'm like, why I'm not able to solve it? So I'm on Slack, Stack Overflow and Medium blogs and towards data science reading. Even at work sometimes at night, 3 o'clock it clicks me, okay, maybe I should try this thing, and I get up from bed and try it. At times it does happens. And I think for me, like currently the project that I was working on at work, it was very tough. But then reading, figuring out and talking, I did something to show to my manager that, okay, I did this. And he then told me, okay, you can try out this and this and this, these things. So when I did something, I could ask someone, okay, why I did this, I'm not able to do it for 2 days. Can you now tell me how can I do it? So this is one thing I learned at work. Even if you ask directly, they'll be like, okay, you didn't do anything, what should I tell you? If you want to be like a baby who wants to get feeded directly, it doesn't happen. You should try it out, take it days. Doesn't matter to us, you don't have a deadline yet to give it. We give you projects so that you try it, and when you try, you fail, you're stuck at it. So then only you realize, and we are there are days when I coded a code for like 100 lines and my manager make it 20-line code, and I was like, wow, you did it so well. But that's how I learned when I did, and I compared his code and see, okay, how it happens, and now I'm reducing my code size well.
Okay, Vikram,
Yeah.
please.
I don't have a question, but I'll just add what Keith said. So regarding the personal failure, I think one can avoid that just because we know about ourselves. So if we can fix the personal boundaries until what the best we can try. So if we already know that we can't go beyond that, and if the target is beyond that, we need to prepare for it. And if we can make a plan on it, then I guess we will not get a failure in that thing. And regarding this technical failures, I feel the reason for failure is in front of us, and it takes time for us to observe it. So when generally I do it like in a break of 40-20 minutes. So I will try hard for 40 minutes. If I don't get it, I just take a break for 20 minutes, like go take a stroll. And then I believe after coming out of that stroll with a empty, calm mind, I guess I can solve it in the less time.
Okay, Kalyan, please.
Before that, I have something more to add to personal failures. Is something that you never give up. Like the famous author J.K. Rowling, she got failed by many publishers, and now we are all Harry Potterheads, Potter fans of her books, and now people read it. It's just because she always believed in herself that yes, it is worth it to get published. And um, so there are times that people will tell you, mock it on, but a belief in yourself, your intuition is the best thing that works for you and open a stream for your new opportunities and things. So always believe your inner intuition rather than your inner critic. Yeah, Kalyan, go ahead.
Yeah, Manpreet. So yeah, my question is something like, it's good to confess your failures, But at the same time, I believe that we should not point others for the reason. I mean, like they might be the reason for your failure, but I believe we should not point out on them while expressing your failure. So, what are your thoughts on this thing?
Don't tell people's name, no. Tell because something happened, it happened. But it's always not that due to people's on your face. Might be a time would be incorrect. Might be a situation, a way that people would have reacted this way that led to situation makes of you going. So there are a lot of factors that contribute to a lot of things in your life. So there's not only people who contribute. It's your things. It's the timing. It's various things that goes around. But you don't need. When you're talking about yourself, you don't need to bring in people, I guess. You could tell that something had happened because of this, which I realized that could have happened in some other way. Yeah, I think it has a point to put on it.
Okay, I need to ask everyone, I'm just simulating a person from Manpreet's audience, so please don't judge me right now. By the way, Manpreet, if you're an athlete, you start training at this level. As you get better, you start training at this level. I'm going to push you right now. I'm not Tom. Well, that was a fine talk, young woman, but quite frankly, you look like you're 22. Who are you to speak on failure? Can you defend that?
Yeah. Irrespective, I'm a 22-year. I had seen some things in life, according to which I feel I could not inspire you. Maybe, but I could tell the coming undergrads maybe, okay, don't do this at college. It might affect you. Don't do this. I did this. I saw this. So might be not an inspiration for you today. But what if you are doing a code that I did already and I learned a lot from it and I explain you, Tom, do this code in this way and you'll get benefited. So you might try it out and I think you already have done it. So it helps even you to learn. You never know. A 10-year-old kid could teach you a lot than a 25 plus experienced person. So you never know.
I really like that question, Manpreet. And that old dude was kind of rude to you to assume that you don't have anything to offer us younger people. In fact, I'd like to say to him, the challenges we're facing are actually harder than the challenges you faced when you were our age. So, Manpreet, what would you say to what I just said back to him? I didn't hear you.
So you being a guy might have faced different challenges. Me being a girl might have faced a lot of challenges, like people texting you vulgarly, which you never face, which you can never talk about. I can talk about being a 22-year-old girl because I faced. So that's how I can even teach boys to be in manner, not to teach girls to get rid of from the platform, but to teach boys, you need to understand there's a thin line between dating apps and LinkedIn. So better differentiate that.
No, that was great. I'm going to lower my hand and just say some things real quick while we're here. I am probably the worst person here today on dealing cool-headedly with someone that's rude to someone. I would have gotten up and berated that guy so hard, and I would have done it not as nicely as Manpreet did. And it wouldn't have been just because she's my daughter, but Manpreet, you did great. Just handle it level-headed, matter-of-factly. And then if someone takes your side and starts berating the rude person, just say, let's just filter all that and let's look for what we need to address here. Okay. I'm going to call on Kim because I'm afraid she'll kill me if I don't.
No, I just wanted to add something that I think was very relevant for when you're working, because a lot of times the failure that we sense in ourselves is not so much self-driven in a workspace. I find that little comments that people make, like, you could have done that better, or, why did you use that code instead of this code, undermines somebody's self-confidence. And it's important to keep in mind that, yeah, maybe there was a cleaner code you could have used. Maybe there was a better mathematical equation that you could have thought of that would have made the whole function that you just spent half a page writing 2 lines. But the point is, you can turn that around so that somebody doesn't have the power over you to use that against you. So for example, I once worked on a big model, and yeah, I put in a whole extra spreadsheet that wasn't even necessary. I was told very quickly what my mistake was, and very harshly. And instead of like internalizing it, I just said, thank you. Because everything that we learn is a good lesson, even if it hurts. Like, even if your ego is so bruised, you just sit there and like, it took me 2 hours like to get over that internally. But I was just like, thank you. And steaming at myself. And every single time I coded for like the next week on that stupid spreadsheet, I was like, okay, that guy was in my mind and he was annoying me all week, but that was good. Like, I think that, again, this goes back to what I was saying about questions about failure. I don't really think that that failure, when it results in any kind of learning, is really failure. I think that on a personal or a professional level, you have to be able to learn, and learning is by definition failure. I mean, everything we do from the time that we're little, we had to ride a bike and fall off many, many times until you could take those training wheels off or feel confident about it. And, to the point with Manpreet, we learn, anyone who's gotten through childhood, for God's sakes, has been through war already, right? Like, you've been through the worst of it. Every kid has pulled everything they could on you. So you take all of those things and you add them to your armor and your chinks, and you go, okay, like, I can take whatever this person has to say to me and turn it into something positive for yourself as a form of learning, instead of thinking it's a failure. Going back to Gates' point, you can never personalize it. You can simply say, how can I use this for myself? That's all.
Very nice, Kim. Thank you. And Gaith, you're next.
You're muted.
I just want to highlight something from the chat. It's from Turf. He's telling us that it's good to learn from others' failures, but the best is to learn from self-failure. By the way, I have strong disagree on this. Okay, but I want to listen to someone else about this. It's a very important point here, but I want to listen from someone else who wants to comment on this.
I had a mentor in my past who said, a wise man learns from his failures. Or let me paraphrase. A wise person learns from their failures, but a truly wise person learns from others' failures. But what I found myself is I tried really hard to be that person that learned from others' failures. And then I found, oh, I've got a litany, a long list of my own failures to deal with here. But the important thing I started to enjoy over time was, oh, I am learning. I'm at least learning from my failures. And I began to be really sad when I would see family members, extended family members or others who weren't even learning from their own mistakes. So do be very happy when you learn from your own mistakes, but do try to learn as much as you can from the mistakes of others. That's my point. And Magdi, did you want to ask a question?
Yes, actually, I would like to also add something what Kim also mentioned, and then it relates to the question to Manpreet. And this is about, I think it is also very important to, and it is relating to failure and making mistakes. So I use these 2 categories. That I think it is very important that you admit, that you learn to admit your failures and your mistakes, first of all. Secondly, that you are kind to yourself after that, and you are not starting blaming yourself too long. And the third thing is to do that, I think it's very important what language you are using. So you can go back, for example, to a client or to your colleague and who is pointing out your failure or giving you this critic or feedback that, yeah, you made a mistake or you failed or something. And then you just say that, yeah, thank you for pointing out, or thank you for catching my mistake. Because how you phrase it for yourself, it will soothe the way how you perceive it. So if you start saying, oh gosh, I made again a mistake, then you stuck in that mindset, in this negative mindset and this fixed mindset, instead of the growth that you take the opportunity to learn from your failure and from your mistake. So I think these are the three things I think it's very important to learn on the way. And my question to Manpreet in that respect, I know that you are very young, as some Jude pointed that out, but it doesn't mean that you couldn't learn. So you had your path, and I'm just curious that when you think back to your first failure, or what you consider as first failure, and you don't have to describe it or you don't have to name it to us, but when you look back to that Manpreet, and you look back now, I mean, look at yourself now, what changed? So from where did you get to where? So where are you now? How you handle your failures at the moment? What kind of mindset do you have, or what do you say when it happens?
Real quick, I want to share. So, by the way, Gaith and I'll talk maybe 30 minutes to an hour about our book work. And then sometimes we're guilty to talk an hour and a half more about our lives and what's going on in our parts of the world. But in one of his many great Arabic Muslim cultural lessons to me, he taught me to do this when we have sign language with each other now, and it's this. And Magdi, I wanted to give you one of these. It's a kind of a way of saying, I deeply respect mentally and intellectually what you were just saying. It's what I try to teach Manpreet. Embrace the growth. When you hear a rude, harsh comment, filter the rudeness and harshness and try to grab the nugget of truth and just enjoy your growth, because it's not a matter of if someone's going to harshly criticize you. It's just a matter of when. To every one of you, I have been criticized harshly, like even browbeat hardly for ideas I had that worked. I either found out they worked because I said, screw you, I'm building it anyway, and it did. By the way, I built things that were hilariously dumb too. But then there was an industry-changing idea I came up with, and someone poo-pooed it, and now it's an industry-changing idea. I'm sharing all this to say, be very careful with your feedback loops, like Magdi is saying. I'm just rewording what you said because it was excellent. And then I think, I hope you had a question to Manpreet there at the end though, so repeat it please so she gets it.
So as you said, how was I earlier? I guess nobody knows better than Tom Geo. And because I just stopped commenting anything on LinkedIn during December. If anybody would have noticed, I didn't do any meetups as well. I was just not in that space enough to smile in front of everybody and do everything, which I was not feeling good about because a lot of negative things were happening. But then I took time. I took a break. I had a self-talk. I talked to Geo, Tom, Ayush, because I think I could talk to them about it at that time, and they helped me to feel good about myself. And then I think I started with the spirit of just writing what I like to write about. And now I think I've improved a lot in terms of accepting what is good and what is just meant for a troll to bring you down. So yeah.
So I want to point something out real quick. If you give a very good presentation and you get no questions, not getting any questions or comments doesn't mean you haven't given an outstanding talk. It may just mean you've caused people to deeply reflect. So what I'm about to say, please don't judge your talk if you don't get a lot of questions and comments. But if the questions and comments go longer than the actual talk, you know two things. You hit a nerve and you did a great job. And the notes that I took, I'm just going to say them publicly, the notes I took from Manpreet. Your failure slide was epic for me. I loved it. I never saw a presentation highlight failure so effectively. I've heard a lot of zippy comments and, you know, little quotes about failure, but no one actually going into excruciating detail about all the advantages of failure. So I just love that. Manpreet, there's a difference between Y-O-U-R and Y-O-U''RE. Watch those. By the way, I'm doing this in front of Manpreet because I know she's tough. I mean, doing in front of all of you. Even though your failure slide was epic, I want you to keep giving this presentation and experiment with different ways to visualize your points. Might be good to, you know, show them in a wheel and reveal one at a time. I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying think about it. Your butterfly example was super powerful. Keep developing that and using it. Yeah, go ahead, Manpreet.
I read this book. It says 13 steps to bloody good luck, which had that example of every one that I talked today. I don't say that good luck. I never thought that this good luck would be something, but when you read this book, it actually tells how networking affects in your good luck, how failures help in your good luck, how persistent you are helps you in your good luck. And I think if anybody wants to read can read this. It's by an Indian author, so I don't know how many would you prefer reading it, but yeah. I found
That's
it in my
awesome.
closet, which it was 5 years ago, but I read it today, but I could relate to a lot of it. So yeah. So
Now,
I can say, so the 13 good luck things that it says: confidence, alertness, the ability to unlearn, situations, how do you handle yourself in situations, how much do you believe in your intuition and develop your intuition, the networking, the goodness, the good you are to people, that karma effect comes back to you, how risk taking you are, in terms of what is the difference between taking a calculated risk and just taking a risk, how informed you are about your surroundings and about the opportunities. So if you're informed, you know what is trending, you learn and you grab the opportunity. That's your good luck. How positive you are about yourself, how passionate you are about yourself, how do you best leverage the opportunities that come to you, and how experimental you are with yourself. So the acronym was causing ripples to it. So these are the
Excellent.
13 good lucks. If you want to read, can read this.
There's one other thing I want y'all to note that Manpreet did that was powerful. I don't know if she did it knowingly or not. If you can work from a single slide in your presentation, or if you can grow the same slide, grow the material on it, it's kind of like it becomes like an outline for your talk that you keep going back to. What happens is you're growing a visual of your talk in people's mind over time. It's like a reveal one point at a time, nonlinear table of contents of your talk. But what it helps, it builds a mental picture of what you're saying in your listeners' minds. I don't know if you did that knowingly or not, Manpreet, but that is a super powerful presentation method that I discovered unknowing. Well, I didn't even think about the extent of its power 25 years ago when I started using it. But guys, exploit that, what she did, and find different ways to do it differently. Jonathan.
Yeah, no, I actually made a few points there, and you've mentioned it as well about trying to just, instead of having the list, just bring it out in stages on that single slide. That's one of the points I had. which I found it straight away a lot of information to take in while you was talking. So what it would, as Tom mentioned already, just to introduce it slowly on visually as you're talking, and it would have been for myself easier to follow, and probably for Tom as well. And just one other thing, and again, it could be just me because I'm wearing glasses here, but I had while trying to read the text, I had a bit of difficulty with the white, with the shadow on the white and the green background. It's just something that I had difficulty with sometimes focusing on the bullet point that you had. But it could be just my eyesight. I'm not sure how it would have other people, but just something that I had difficulty with. So
yeah, I'll keep in mind the color scheme.
Yes, Kim. Sorry, go ahead, Jonathan.
And one other thing, I see the Manpreet shared the book. If you could share the link as well. I also have another book while we was talking about failure and other details. I don't know if you all know the Bar Rescue, John Taffer. But he has a book as well, and it's Don't BS Yourself, Crush Excuses That Are Holding You Back. And in there, it also shows you how you can turn failure around and be active on the feedback as well. So it's another book there that you can, if you have time to read.
Excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. Kimberly. Or is it Genevieve? Who is it?
It's me. Okay, so first, if you guys could share those books on the chat, that would be great. And second, Manpreet, one of the things that I think would really be helpful in terms of getting people, because I think Tom is right that a lot of people became very reflective about your presentation slide and started thinking about the slide. And I think whenever you're putting a presentation together, you have to think about your beginning, your middle, and your end. So when you're talking about a certain subject matter, in this case, failure, where are you starting the story? Where are you bringing people and how are you ending it? And one thing that I find that's very helpful in presentations is having some kind of mnemonic, some kind of structural mnemonic that helps people to remember what you've been talking about. So for example, if you can think of the different aspects of failure and maybe find either keywords or keyword ideas such as the butterfly that help to leave an image or an impression in the viewer's minds so that they can remember the presentation and walk away with it. And then the only other thing is that when I was consulting, you would never have that many bullets on one slide because it's too much to visually look at and take in for people. So it does not, I mean, I think it's fine for us, but like in a presentation, if you're presenting to clients, they're very like, they always say, get one idea across on a page. So maybe as Tom was suggesting, building that out and going through, and what Jonathan was talking about making it more facile for people to be able to take in by breaking it into components based on maybe the type of failure, whether it's a personal or professional, or the type of analogy that you're going to be using. And then the only other thing I really wanted to know is what Gaith is saying about he disagrees entirely. I really want to find out what that is.
It just so happens that Gaith is up next.
In fact, why I'm disagree, because it's always a good chance to learn when you are involved on other failures point. I don't mean that you will never learn from your failure. Sure, you have to learn from it, and this is what's happened. But it's very, as Tom said, it's very, the true wisdom is to learn from other failures. This is something we don't have to miss. The life at the end, it's short. So that's why. Now, I have just one comment to Manpreet. It's not comment about the presentation, but it's one idea. I thought this presentation, it can be done without ABBT. It can be done with her speaking only. No need to present something with her. She can do it alone. This is what I'm thinking. I don't know if anybody agree with me on that.
If you're really powerful in your ability to paint word pictures for your audience, and you can, that is an advanced speaking skill, in my opinion, to be able to be brilliant with word pictures and hand motions, and even walking around the stage. If you're on a stage, it's harder here, without a stage and without people be able to see your full body language. But Gaith is correct. If you can learn to do that, it's powerful, but it's hard. It's hard to do it as well as you do it with slides. In fact, some people will even resort to props that they will hold up and pull up. So you can get to all sorts of ways, but in this Zoom age, I think the other points that were being made to you are great. Kim, did you have an addition or just still had your hand up? Okay. All right, good.
I do have something to say.
Yes, Amar, and I'm going to just make one point. In case y'all aren't aware, we have moved from questioning Manpreet like she was some official speaker into giving our dear sister and daughter some feedback on how to do better. And Manpreet, I think you will allow me to do this. I will call you out in front of the whole family if you don't keep giving and improving this presentation, because it's epic. And you can make it epicer, more epic.
I took the notes, but as Kate said, I had put this example chat a note in front of my computer so that I just can see this and talk.
Awesome.
Sorry, the next stage is a TED talk on failure from Manpreet.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Amar, we don't want to, please, we're eager to hear from you.
Yeah, that's okay. Great presentation, Manpreet. I'm 24, so I cannot judge the age thing. I'm almost there. And I would like to add something regarding my perspective of failure and stuff like this. So my perspective says that I'm a current PhD candidate, so I'm into research and I'm not so mature with the research. I'm respectively new. It's my second year of research. So I would like to see the things from that perspective. I would say that in research, proving that something works is a research and then you can publish papers and wherever. But even proving that something doesn't work is at the same time research. So you could find papers that doesn't have any novelty, just says that this method does not work. So this is one style of learning from our mistakes and our tries. Let's not say that everything is a mistake. Maybe this is a try and it didn't work, so it doesn't need to be a mistake. And this is on the professional academic side. So yeah, your points were amazing. Everyone's point were like music to my ears, and I just love to add this note.
Thank you for that, Amar. And I think we all forget that and no judgment on age, you guys are brilliant to me, but Amar, it's always amazing to me that you're 24, dude. Appreciate your young age wisdom. Okay. Now we did have another presentation planned and I'm really eager to hear it, but I don't want to do it because we've run out of time and he may not be able to give it next week. So we're just going to postpone it until it's good because I think he has exams coming up or something. So yeah, he's being very gracious about it. By the way, it's just worked out that he couldn't do it last week and he was scheduled to. And then now, because we all were just into what Manpreet taught us, he couldn't do it this week because we're running out of time. So anyway, we were flexible. We're family. This is more like our living room, right? This was great. I think even what we all learned. Did Manpreet drop off? I think she might have. That's okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, there you are. Gosh, there's so many faces on the screen. No, Manpreet, it was really good. I hope you'll keep growing it. And I know personally, this presentation was kind of grown out of the fires of hell itself. I mean, guys, one of the things Gio and I were helping Manpreet see, and I'm asking y'all to kind of take your mind's eye back to the history of Christian art. It might not just be Christian, I don't know, but think of how they picture the fires of hell. It's a lot of dark souls trying to climb up on each other and push other people down in trying to do that. And guys, I want you to develop a sense of compassion when you see this. But there are truly dark souls among us humans that their way to make themselves feel better is just to pull other people down. Now, I hope they're not cognizant of it when they're doing that. But that's one of the things that will hold us back is other people's harsh comments. And guys, I'm guilty of it. I have spent years avoiding harsh comments, and it was a mistake. And I don't want you guys to have to learn it later in life like I did. Don't let it hold you back. And Manpreet's become extremely courageous, extremely embracing of failure. So I actually personally, knowing the hell she's been through by just trying to be a giver to the community, we had to encourage her. We're pushing you up. There may be some dark souls trying to pull you down, but Gio and I and the family, thank you, Amar. Yeah, all of us together, we're pushing you up, Manpreet. But guys, remember, we're all pushing each other up. That's why we do what we do. We're here to push each other up. And I actually count on you guys. If you see me doing something in a talk or a show that I'm on or here, I'm counting on you guys. Tom, that didn't sound like you. You know, the way you came across on that show, did you really want to be that way? I'm counting on y'all to be that for me. But many of you that know me know I would do that for you. There's a young man among us. One time I saw him post something on LinkedIn. I said, I'm sorry, I can't get behind your tone on that. I love you. I respect you. I love most of your posts. I just want you to know I couldn't get behind that one for this reason. And he took it. But I want y'all to feel like you can be that way with me. And I hope you'll be all that way with each other. And most of the time, it's going to be constructive, like what we were doing with Manpreet. So in other words, let's be a high functioning, constructive family. That's all I'm saying in so many words. Looking at the chat in case while anyone else thinks they want to add something, come off mute and say it. Appreciate that, Kimberly. Yeah, great. Okay. Well, this is, by the way, a quick poll. You can do it by a hand raise if you want. Should we stick with this new time or should we move back? Well, so it was a time change for the people in the States and anyone else that's going to have a time change. It's a time change to 1 hour later. But for the people in the world that are smarter than the United States and other countries that engage in this insane time change once a year or twice a year, it's the same time for you. So do we keep it consistent with the time change, or do we let it be the absolute time, which would change it for the US during spring and fall?
I don't think that the position of the sun would change anything in my day. So
it did affect some people in the US. They have a spirit of whatever's best for the majority of the family. But if I just, you can let Gaith and I know privately, or you can make your opinions in family chat on our Slack work group. Just let us know so we start to get a feel. We don't want it to be a squeaky wheel gets the grease thing. So just tell us, for you personally, we do want to know.
Europe changes their clocks next week as well.
So then it will basically, Gaith controls the mentoring session time with his invite for his Google Calendar. And so that's why it changed for the US people and the other people that will have a time change, just explaining. Whereas I had to go and physically change the time for the after party to match this one. By the way, our policy is we go to the hour and then we start looking for a good stopping point for the mentoring session. So, and then we have the after party. That's for people. Again, we sense that people didn't want to sign off, but they didn't want to miss anything. We didn't want to cause that stress. So that's why we have the mentoring session and then the after party.
Yes, About this, about the time thing, I want to ask, for example, the class time, when it was last week and today when it's happened, for the people who has this time frame. So I will create the poll like this. I will keep it either this time or this time to be easier for everyone.
Yeah,
So
a poll would be awesome.
Okay. So I think today we start at, Tom, for you, it was 9 a.m.
It was very pleasant for me. I didn't mind it, but Greg was excited to not have to get up at, ready 7 a.m. in Pacific Standard Time. But at the same time, he hated having to miss this because of his quantum class. So that's one example, though. And we don't really care about Greg Coquillo. I mean, come on. I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay, I think the poll, everybody loves the idea of the poll because that way.
Okay, I'll make it on Slack.
Yes, and that way everyone can vote and they don't feel like they're making a selfish statement. They're just saying, this is my preference for me. And that way we learn the majority. That'll be perfect. Okay, I don't know if you've already stopped the recording.
Yes,
Again, great.
Again.
Okay, good. Great job, Manpreet. We'll have the other speaker, which I'll make him a surprise another time that's convenient for him. And then we'll see, the Steward team will try to figure out what we do for next week. We may have another presentation. We'll see. We'll talk about it. And I'll see you all in the after party. Unless there's anything else. I don't want to end too abruptly. Okay, and I'm going to give time